You've been told that history repeats itself. You've been told that every story is the same. But what if I told you that history isn't just about the past? It's about your future. What if the most overlooked book in the Bible holds the key to rebuilding what feels broken in your life? 1 Chronicles isn't just a history lesson. It's a blueprint for restoration, for hope, for redefining leadership and worship in a way that still matters today. Let's dive in. All right, let's be honest. 1 Chronicles doesn't exactly scream thrilling page-turner at first glance. If you've ever cracked it open and been met with what feels like a never-ending list of names, you might have been tempted to skip ahead. But hang on, because this book is way more than an ancient version of a family tree. Chronicles takes us on a deep dive into Israel's history, specifically focusing on King David and his preparations for the temple, but with a fresh perspective. Unlike the books of Samuel and Kings, which highlight Israel's mistakes and downfall, 1 Chronicles is all about looking forward. It was written after the Babylonian exile, at a time when Judah was trying to rebuild, both physically and spiritually. It's a reminder that, even after everything fell apart, God's promises still stood. And that's why the book starts with genealogy. Because those long lists of names aren't just filler, they're proof that the people returning from exile were still part of God's story. Then we get to the real meat of the book, David. But not the full, scandal-filled version from Samuel. Chronicles skips over the messier parts of his life, no Bathsheba drama here, and instead zeroes in on David as the ultimate king, a man after God's heart, who was obsessed with making worship the center of Israel's identity. In fact, one of the biggest themes of 1 Chronicles is the temple. David spends much of the book preparing for its construction, organizing the Levites, appointing musicians, and setting the stage for what would become the spiritual heartbeat of Israel. This focus on worship wasn't just about tradition. It was a way to remind the people that their strength didn't come from political power, but from their relationship with God. And speaking of leadership, one of the most powerful moments in the book is David's final charge to Solomon. He doesn't just hand over the blueprints for the temple, he gives Solomon a mission: follow God wholeheartedly, and everything else will fall into place. So, what's the takeaway for us today? 1 Chronicles reminds us that restoration is possible, but it starts with faithfulness. It teaches us that leadership isn't about status. It's about serving with a heart set on God. And maybe most importantly, it shows us that even when things look broken beyond repair, God's story isn't over. I'll leave you to discuss in the comments. What do you think is the most overlooked message in 1 Chronicles? You can support us by subscribing if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and I'll catch you soon in another video.